The doors to the Viridian tea house are open once more. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. You know, to be quite honest, I've been up and down lately, just a lot of changes, things happening, good things, bad things, but just trying to roll with the punches. And I'm finding that bit of advice is helping. That and also to be patient and to also be consistent. Consistency and I are not bedfellows at all, but I hope you guys are doing well. And if you're ready, I've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so let's start. So the first thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite magazines across the pond, the Dilettante. And you've seen me review the first issue of the Dilettante where I dealt with the Roaring Twenties. Well, issue 2, I'm behind an issue. Sophie, if you're watching this, I'm behind an issue. I'm sorry, I'll get to the third one. I really will. But this is issue 2. And let's see, the subject matters are Dandies in the Underworld, Marlene Dietrich, an ode to etiquette, mortality maths, invented artists, Professor Elemental as always, and 70s sci-fi. And as I say, Dilettante is for the creative and the unconventional. And you know, I gotta be honest, like, I didn't think I was that big of a fan of glam rock, but then as I started reading the articles, I was like, oh wait, David Bowie. Facepalm. Because I adore David Bowie. And like one of my favorite albums of his is Hunky Dory. Oh, I love it. So let's see here. We've got, oh yeah, here we go. Hello there from the Dilettante. Created in an old attic room in Nottingham, we are an independent magazine that celebrates the curious, creative, and unconventional. And they have a website, they have an email address, they are on Facebook and also Instagram. So yes, if you are interested in learning more about the Dilettante magazine, I will put all their information up on the video once this has been posted. And let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. The Dilettante Guide to Making Art. Cultivate curiosity, pay attention, make time to play, collate, incubate, eliminate, investigate, instigate, abolish perfection. Here, here. Use your hands as much as your head. Step away from the screen, as I'm recording on a screen. Make a mess. Show the things that are rarely seen. Practice. Study your idols. Study their idols. Develop an absurd alter ego. Ignore the cynics and the fads. And lastly, begin. So let's see here. What's some highlights that I really enjoyed? Oh, here we go. Ideas for an absurd alter ego. Develop a brief retelling of your life. Practice a good wink. Elongate your vowels. That's how it actually says in here. Dress completely in one color. Well, I do that with black. Buy an unusual hat. Transform your idiolect. Choose your own name. Create an imagined profession. Explore your gender expression. Walk taller or smaller or slightly this way and that. Make up an infectious laugh. I kind of like that. Have make-believe conversations on your telephone. Create a signature dance move. Emulate your favorite historical eccentric. Oh boy. Collect some props. Dye your hair strange colors. Develop a stylish signature. Write an intriguing backstory. Talk lengthily about imaginary relatives from far away. Lament imaginary dead pets. Go where you ordinarily wouldn't. Order something else. Blend in, stick out, pretend. I love it. Love it. Let's see. What else we got here? What else do we have here? Trying to see what else. Oh, do's and don'ts for a modern age, and also about an ode to etiquette from Emily Post. Nothing is less important than which fork you use. Etiquette is the science of living. It embraces everything. It is ethics. It is honor. Here, here. Embracing Failure, more mortality maths. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Enigma of Robert Holcomb, Identity, Illusion, and the Invention of the Artist. Oh, quote by Oscar Wilde. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. Which actually, I'm not going to give it away, but in my third and final Jackie Verona book, which is Jackie Verona and the Dance of Lilith, masks play a very important role. Just keep that in mind. For those of you who have read my Jackie Verona series, the third book is in the hands of the publisher. Hopefully it'll be out soon. If it's not, no worries, but I have a feeling this is a wonderful way to say goodbye to Moon City. Oh, and by the way, there's also going to be another tea blend too, but I digress. Let's see, Marlena Dietrich. But yes, oh, and then lovely 70s sci-fi and good old David Bowie, of course, in dealing with glam rock. So that's just a sample about this magazine. And, I read this magazine quite by chance through Professor Elemental, and because he contributes to the magazine. And I was like, well, Dilettante, you got me on the name. And ever since then, I'm completely hooked. Issue 3 is currently out. And like I said, I've not read it yet, but when I do, I'll be reviewing and talking and gushing all over it in a future Viridian Tea House video. So stay tuned. And as far as I know, so I made a tea blend for the Dilettante magazine. And as far as I know, it's still listed on the website. I do not sell it at all. You can only get it through the Dilettantes website. And like I said, once this video has been uploaded, you can see all the social media goodies for all the stuff I'm going to talk about today. So to Sophie and everyone else across the pond who's involved with the Dilettante, thank you so much. I always love reading this magazine, reading your posts. I just enjoy it, and I'm so glad that we were able to work together for the period that we did. And it just receives an honorary 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. So jolly good show. I'm really bad with British accents, so don't, yeah. But thank you again. Thank you. So we moved from England to China. So there's a backstory behind this book. So recently, so I'm a volunteer with Denver Public Library, Friends Foundation. So I help out with all of the book sales. Well, we just had our big book sale at LH Theater in Denver. And oh my gosh, it's so nice to enter into a book sale and there's just all these books and you're like, which one of you will come home with me? So I did 2 shifts, and in one of the shifts I was just kind of straightening up and I saw this book and I said, I want it. And it is Chinese Emperors from the Xia. I'm really bad with pronunciation of Chinese words, so please forgive me. Dynasty to the fall of the last dynasty that dealt with Aisenjiu Puyi. And if that name, it seems familiar to you, it should if you saw the 1987 film, The Last Emperor, that dealt with Aisenjiu Puyi. And that's how I found out about Aisenjiu Puyi and all the different Chinese emperors. But this book was this was like a semester all to itself. And I remember just reading it and reading about the different emperors and the different dynasties that rose and fell and who killed who and who poisoned who and, whose son made off with someone else's wife or, who died under mysterious circumstances. There was one involving a red capsule and longevity, if I remember reading it right. Ooh, excuse me. And then how some of the emperors just retired and just said, I'm kind of done with this. I'm just going to go off into the mountains and lead a very simple monastic life. But if you are interested in any kind of Asian history, you cannot go wrong with Chinese Emperors by Ma Yan. And actually, so the first emperor that she discusses, and this is prehistory, so this is like 21st century BC to 17th century BC. So the first emperor that was mentioned in here, it's Fu Xi, Again, my apologies for not being able to pronounce it correctly. I should have looked it up. But his other name was Tai Wu. So here we go. Tai Wu is a legendary figure who was depicted as having a human form on his top half and a snake's body on the bottom half. He may have been married to his sister, who gave birth to their children. They were from the first tribes in China located around the Yellow River. He was the first human being mentioned in Chinese written archives, since he was very well regarded among his tribe members, teaching them fishing, cooking, and hunting. He may have been the first person who counted numbers by using the binary system. The legend of him finding markings on dragon and turtle shells led the Chinese to think that they could be the very first appearance of Chinese calligraphy in primitive form. Chinese regard him as the father of civilization. According to the earliest written Chinese legend, the world was a state of mist. Yin and Yang were divided. Tai Wu was the master of Yang, and Nuwa ruled Yin. Since he was thought to have been created from a snake, a simplified form of dragon, he was also considered as the first descendant of dragon. So from this emperor all the way to the end, and Aisinjo Puyi, there's a picture of him there, and I'll only read just a little bit of it. Let's see, Puyi became known throughout the world as the last emperor. In 1987, Italian movie director Bernardo Bertolucci launched a global blockbuster named The Last Emperor, which, by the way, if you've never seen it before, I highly recommend it. Peter O'Toole is in it. It is glorious. And if you can get your hands on the Criterion version, they did not cut anything. So I think the movie's like 4 hours long, but it is gorgeous and tragic and beautiful. I mean, it really is. This movie reviews Puyi's life as a child, emperor, and an ordinary citizen in China. His life was indeed very dramatic. Let's see. There was a lot of twists and turns and backstabbing, but at the end, let's see. Puyi dreaded the Chinese communists, but Russia's leader Stalin rejected his request to stay in the Soviet Union. Puyi was returned and kept in the Fushun War Criminal Management Center in China until 1950. He was released in 1959 and was offered citizenship by the People's Republic of China. In 1962, he remarried under the law of the Republic. He also developed a career devoting his last years to helping Chinese historians research his dynasty. Before he died, he managed to publish his own autobiography, The First Half of My Life, also known in English as From Emperor to Citizen, which I actually had a copy of that book. It was a hardbound, and I regret getting rid of that book. So again, if you find a copy of it, read it. In 1969, the last emperor, an ordinary Chinese citizen, died of kidney cancer. So this book is a wealth of knowledge. And like I said, this made me feel like I was going to college for a semester. Very intense, hard to kind of keep up with who begat who, but what a journey. And you don't even have to leave your living room. If you want to go to China and you're not able to do so immediately, pick up this book, Chinese Emperors by Ma Yan. And this receives 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. I truly enjoyed reading this book, and I'm so glad that my eyes caught the title. I'm glad that this book is now part of my personal collection. So many thanks. All right, so in getting to the tea portion, one little thing, dealing with the tea, but this is kind of an offshoot. So for those of you who know, I recently signed up to take a mini course with the Herbal Academy of New England. And it is 5 lessons, and then I take a quiz, and I don't know what happens after that. But so I've been doing a lesson every day, and every day I feel like my brain is growing and growing with all this knowledge regarding herbalism. But here's the thing. I'm not learning about the herbs. I'm learning about the logistics of becoming an herbalist. All the hoops you got to go through, what organizations provide certifications and licensing, what countries provide certification, licensing, and government regulation. Today's class dealt with ethical practices. How do you determine if the herbalist that you meet is actually legitimate or a shyster? What procedures, what policies, what about disclosures? So in my years of having this tea company, I've had a lot of people come up to my table and they ask me, well, which one of your teas is good for arthritis, or which one of your teas is good for this or that? And I always have to tell people my teas they were not created for health benefits. They're healthy, but that's not how they were created. They were created creatively. Books, art, music, science, places, all kinds of stuff. So I thought about it and I said, I think it would be really good if I were to create my own disclosure. And so I came up with it today, and I'll read it to you. Disclosure. The tea blends of Viridian Tea Company are creatively inspired and not for diagnosing, treating, curing, or preventing any disease. I am a World Tea Academy certified tea specialist who creates all the blends. Anyone who is interested in the various teas and herbs used in the blends is encouraged to do their own research concerning safety and usage. Thank you. But like I said, I have had many a customer ask me, well, I'm looking for thus and so. Can you help me with thus and so? And in the mini course that I'm taking, you really walk a fine line. If you are not licensed or registered to actually answer those questions, but answer it in such a way where you're not sounding like a medical doctor, but more of an herbalist, fine line. So I created that disclosure and I posted it to the Etsy store and also to the Facebook page for Viridian Tea Company. So if anyone has any questions about that, please shoot me an email, or if you have Facebook, you can message me. My email address is teagoddess, teagoddess74@gmail.com. All right, getting the logistics out of the way. So I've got a new tea blend, and this is inspired by my book, Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz. So this book actually came out in 2019. Many years passed, and I thought, I want to knock the dust off of this. I just wasn't happy with it. So I got rid of some stories that just didn't fit. I also changed, of course, if you have a copy of the first version, this is very, very different. And like I said, this is independently published through Amazon KDP. And I said, you know what? This book needs a tea blend. So welcome to Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz Tea Blend. And you can actually see the cover of the book on the label. Excuse me, I'm profusely sweating. Whew. Ugh, gross, I know. So the ingredients of the tea blend, it's green tea, ginger, and lemongrass. I wanted to keep it simple, spicy, to the point. And I have made a lovely, not hot, but kind of sort of chilled cup of this tea. And this is a new glass that I got. I don't know if you can see the graphics, but it is, let's see. It's a woman who's meditating and the different chakras. And then also, I guess that's the same woman or another woman who's kind of doing like a yoga pose. So this was actually created by a vendor who also works the Wheat Ridge Farmers Market on Wednesdays. His name is Rick Galante, Custom Laser Works, and I will put his information on the video once it uploads as well. But yes, if you want to get that in there and give him a shout out, because it's funny, last Wednesday he came by my table and he was looking at my tea and stuff like that, and he ended up buying a bag. But he was telling me, yeah, I do glass works, with teacups and coffee cups. And of course my ears perk up and I'm like, tea? Let me see what you got. So this glass mug with these details on the front and the back was only $10. And I said, I gotta have one of these. And I've used it. I mean, I absolutely love how the designs like really stand out when you put tea or coffee in it. So my first trying of Chinese food and Gypsy Jazz tea blend created by me, inspired by the independently published book Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz. L'chaim. Wow. Wow. So let me back up a little bit. My boyfriend actually got the first cup of this, and he liked it overall. He's like, I'm getting something kind of herbally, and I was like, that's probably the lemongrass. He's like, yeah, and the ginger is there too. Well, me sipping that, so that is lukewarm, and I was trying to ice it down just to kind of see if it would taste different than making it hot, but I immediately got the ginger. I'm a big fan of ginger. And then the lemongrass and the green tea just kind of commingled in the back. But this would be an awesome tea to ice. And a little side note, and I've talked about this before. Some people have looked at me and they're like, oh, it's too hot to be drinking tea. And I'm like, I drink it hot all year round. I mean, I do. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can take one of my bags and you can brew the tea and then ice it. You can do that. In fact, a couple of my blends, Hypatia is really good iced, and Elmwood, that's the black tea with elderberry and hibiscus, that's fantastic iced as well. So if you have one of my teas and you don't want it hot, try it iced, because I bet money with the change in the temperature, certain ingredients are really going to come out and others are going to stay in the back. And for the hot version, it's probably going to be the opposite or the same. I don't know. But yes, I let this sit in the refrigerator for a while before recording. And I have to say, you know what I immediately got? This cleanses your palate. This really does. And it kind of gives your mouth and your breath a little pick-me-up. But that's really good. So once again, in the mug done by Rick Galante, thank you so much. This is the Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz Tea Blend, which will be made available later today to coincide with Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz, independently published by me. So I'm currently sold out of the book, but you can get it on Amazon. The tea, like I said, will be available on the Etsy store. Now, having said that, so this is my proof copy, and I ordered this just to see if everything was all right. I will have this at events. If there's somebody who comes to my table and they really want a copy of the book, I'll sell it to them for a treat. So just saying that. But yeah, Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz, revised and so much better. And like it says on the back, murder, revenge, love, obsession, fantasy, violins, bookstores. And that's just the first 10 pages. Welcome to Chinese Food and Gypsy Jazz, a short story collection that is most strange and unusual. So yes, the tea is delicious. Absolutely love it. And I do have it in both regular and sampler sizes as well. So I think that's all I have. Oh wait, I have one more thing. So I'm trying to incorporate more of cool things that I'm encountering. And this is some lovely artwork that I picked up last week from the Wheat Ridge Farmers Market. And lovely person, Emerson Art, Emily Emerson. She is listed on Instagram and she has an email address. I'll put her information up on the video as well. But she has mini canvas prints. She has really cool stickers. She's got artwork like this. If you're into this kind of feeling, this aesthetic of artwork, you cannot go wrong with her. I guess we're kind of sort of friends now. I hope so. And I was looking at her table last week, and this piece, my eyes kept going back to it. And I was like, you know what? I really want this. I'll sell a lot of tea, but I really want this. but her artwork is reasonably priced. Like I said, she's got everything from mini canvas prints on easels and larger prints as well. She has originals, she has the regular prints, she's got stickers, she has all sorts of things, and she's always doing events in Colorado. But I will be putting her information up on the video so you can check out her work as well, and I bet she ships. So many thanks to Emily for this print. It really is gorgeous, and I just got to figure out where to put it in my office, but thank you so much. All right, so we are now at the meditation and toward the end, and welcome to the water and tea breathing meditation. I'm not even going to go through the rules, quote unquote rules, because you guys know. Just make sure you have a glass of water or your cup of your favorite tea with you. And if you're ready, let's begin. And now let's end this meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come into focus and enjoy a sip of your water or your tea. Oh, that's absolutely delicious. Well, many thanks to everyone that I have mentioned in today's video. I just thank you so much for your creativity, for your being out there in the forefront and just living your life the only way you know how, your way. Thank you so much. And many thanks to you guys for watching these videos and watching me be silly and stupid. And actually, I realize I've been doing this for over 2 years. And thank you so much to all the people who are subscribed. Thank you so much that you continue to watch these things, because sometimes I'm like, oh God, that was a really goofy video. And I'm like, you know what? I'm goofy. I'm not going to apologize for that. But thank y'all so much for enjoying these videos and checking out what I've been posting. Just thank you so much. And that's all I've got. So as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your really cool mug high. And I left my sign, oh well. But just remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you very soon. Bye for now.